I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this analogy. Analogies are very important because analogies are a sign that you are not schizophrenic. Being able to deal with a sign that you are not schizophrenic. Schizophrenia really impacts upon your ability to abstract. And yesterday we talked about a Roger Miller quote that said, some people enjoy the rain, other people just get wet, and I said, well, what does that mean? And it was very interesting. So I want you to think about this analogy, okay? I want you to think about this. You are a physician, and you come into a hospital bed room, and there is a patient there, and you read the chart, or you read it, says, what happened? He says, we're looking at a stage 3, and then you can go through whatever particular cancer you want. Something very, very serious. It's not over with yet. It's not stage 4. It's not some horrible metastatic nightmare, but it's pretty advanced, and something has to be done immediately. Okay, you following this? You're the physician. There's the patient. And the patient's family members and friends are sitting around the bed. One person has a cup with a straw, is feeding the patient juices as a form of therapy, therapeutic. This is, oops, my God. This is their attempt. This is their attempt to correct the cancer by juicing. And then you look over here, and somebody has a therapy dog so that the family member can pet the dog. Oh, okay. And then over here, you see somebody who is maybe a massage therapist. And then over here, there's a dentist. And over here, there's an OBGYN. You're thinking, wait. What is going on here? What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, we're addressing this. You're addressing this. This person has cancer. What are you doing with the juices? Well, it's been shown that, wait. You don't understand what's going on here. And what about you? What are you doing? Well, I'm into, you were doing what, Ralphing or chiropractic? This person has cancer. This is a metastatic cancer. This is stage 3. What are you doing? OBGYN, thank you, but this is a man, and I don't know what you're doing, and you got a dentist here? Well, we're doing something. We're doing something. And that's how we're dealing with this. That is what America is doing, and this play acting, this Ronald Reagan tribute band sort of Rush Limbaugh world, they're thinking that this is Rush Limbaugh time, and that they're talking about Tim Scott. Tim Scott. What? This is a story? This is what you're concerned with? Do you understand what is happening here? It's like I've never seen anything, and you're still, not you, please forgive me when I say this, because I love you and your family and you're with me, and I have a terrible habit. I say you, because I'm talking to somebody who might be watching this. And by the way, you better subscribe to this channel. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm talking about you, but it's not you. It's the royal you. So I don't mean you, my dear family members. I'm just talking about those people who might be tuning in from elsewhere. They're still talking about Tucker Carlson. Or Fox News is really woke. Oh, here's something from the employees manual, and wow. Wait a minute. What is happening here? What are you talking about? Do you know what's happening here. No. I don't understand what I'm seeing anymore. I'm looking at the patient. The patient has a very serious cancer. This is America. This is the world. And the family members who love this patient, most Americans, people who are involved, they love the patient. They want the patient to get better, but they don't understand what the patient has. They don't understand it. They don't see what is happening. They can't prioritize. They can't triage. They don't read anything. They don't understand. There was an article I read yesterday from one of these music critics from like the 70s, I guess, who actually said AI is not a big deal because AI is in your phone. Now, I don't know what this Jadrul thinks AI is. Apparently, he doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand any of this. But we are, for the very first time, we have so many things coming at us, I don't even know where to start. It's like I want to tell this family member, these family members, your loved one here is so riddled with cancer. Not to mention, if we get the cancer somehow controlled, the other attendant problems, cardiovascular, cerebral, neurological, circulatory. I mean, if this patient lives, it will be not only a miracle, but we're not even sure what living even means, because you haven't been paying attention. When this patient was sick and needed help and needed immediate attention, you were giving it juices. Republicans, you were going to CPAC. Democrats, I don't even know. Democrats are the children. Democrats are, when I mean the Democrats, not Joe Biden, the Democrats, they're the children. They're the children at the Thanksgiving dinner who are sitting at the kids' table by themselves. They're there. We like them. They have no say in anything. The Republican Party, they have no say in anything. They're just there. AOC, the usual, Bernie Sanders, whoever, they're just there at the kids' table. They're not really making any decisions. So they're over here. The Republicans think that somehow they're helping by, and let me give you an analogy. And I know you're going, I mean you this time. I know you're going to take great umbrage at what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. You are the type to say, let us pray. And I would say, you know what? That's wonderful. But you pray over there, get out of the way. I got to work on this patient. We've got serious problems. We might have to have surgery, chemotherapy. I got to work on this. There's a chapel downstairs. Go ahead. I think it's wonderful. You're praying for you and him. I got to work on him. That's the Republican Party. They're talking about stuff that doesn't matter. They talk about, I don't know what they talk about. I think they just want a prayer, and they want to pray. They want to have juice, and they want to use aromatherapy. They don't understand what's going on. The patient is dying. Well, the patient was dying before. No, the problems the patient had before weren't life-threatening. The patient was sick, but not like this. This is different. This is something you've never seen before. We're seeing a form of infection. We're seeing something that we've never seen before. It's like when the antibiotic resistance bacteria are so great. There's no there's no antibiotics anymore. We don't know what to do. We've used everything. When we saw for the first time hemorrhagic Ebola kind of, it's just where people bled through their anyway, it blew people's minds. When AIDS was never seen. We've had some immune system. So the first thing I'm trying to do was to tell people, you don't understand this. And what we're doing is we have these people like this stupid rock critic who is the member of the family says, oh, don't worry. He's always been a fighter. I hate that. Well, he's a fighter. What does that mean? He's sitting here in a coma. He's not fighting anything. He's hoping to God, or we're hoping he's not dying. Well, he fought that. You mean he sought treatment? He didn't fight anything. He just hung on for dear life and did everything. He just didn't give up. So that's where we are right now. Now, I don't know at what particular level I have to explain this, and I don't know. Maybe you don't want to hear this. Maybe I'm coming on too strong. Maybe, but I don't see anybody here even. I have just completely given up. I couldn't believe I'm going over my oatmeal this morning. I'm just going through the various, and I'll see things. I'll go here and the usual, what do they think is important? Transgender, gender, more crime. Tim Scott. Now, let me see if I can explain this to you. There is a paradox which I find to be so interesting. And the paradox is as follows. We always write. There are people always writing. I've never been very good at this. I am so interested to see people on phones. I've never learned that. I'm a dictator. I'm like Mussolini. I dictate. I might do a couple, but I don't. But you would think that with the amount of writing that we write it, we'd be great writers. We're not. Paradox number one. Number two, you would think that by virtue of all that we're reading, we read more today, that we will be better readers. Wrong. Paradox two. Paradox three. You would think that with all of the information we have at our pockets, with the library at Alexandria in our pockets, you think we would know everything. We don't. It's number three. Paradox number four. Everybody loves true crime. I mentioned this during that particular individual who passed away during federal custody. You may have heard of him. He was involved in an incident recently with Mr. Gates. Paradox number four. People love true crime. This is an example of, you want to start with this crime? No. No, I can show you some things. No, seriously, I know a little bit about this. See, when you're a prosecutor, you have to learn a little bit about when you do murder or things. So you have to be able to understand it so you can explain to a jury, because if they don't understand it, you've lost your case. No, not interested. Okay. Paradox number five, do you think that maybe since you're into computer stuff and we love gaming and we love this and you would think, may I explain to you a couple of things regarding AI and AGI? What it's going to do, especially when it interfaces with our own particular spectrum and can of cerebration and the like, and mentation. May I explain that to you? And may I also explain to you a little bit about later on, because you like computers, quantum computing, which is like number 7. No. Just now, I just saw we're still talking about this certain blackmail and extortion story, which I've already been through with you. It's not a story. So I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm going into this room, and while I'm saying to people, you aren't you interested in what you claim to be interested in? No. The world is falling apart. Let me explain something. Let me really get down to it. The thing that makes you a human being is this idea that you are special and you were made by God. I'm not going to argue with that. That you have a pumping heart and you have tears and feelings and skin and hair and families and memories and talents and quirkiness, and you are this beautiful, ultimate thing called a human being. The smartest thing in the world that nobody can get better than or improve upon. You have no idea what you're talking about. You will find that all of those wonderful little quirkiness things are, in many people, considered to be shortcomings that will be absolutely outdone by brute force, computational power, and the like, which I'll explain in a moment, is more than you can imagine. These entities will be construed as, and will be declared, and will be found, and will be declared as being, I can't say this enough, sentient beings. Not human beings, beings. They will have the same status, if not more, that you have. They will talk and think and converse. They will pass the Turing test. You know the Turing test, Alan Turing. When you're able to convey and speak to machines, and you can't tell if they're a machine or they're human, that's the test of the Turing test. You have no idea what this is going to do. Let me give you an analogy. I just did something before on my private channel. This is Lionel Media. Like I told you, that's where the adults go. That's where I can speak, and I feel free to discuss things. Well, without you know what I'm talking about. Because there are some things you got to be very careful about, and I think you know all about that. I think there's no reason for me to even bring this up to you. There is when I was in Florida, notice I'm from Florida. There is there was a thing around the 70s called a love bug. I don't know if you remember that. If there are any Floridians listening to me, you might have remembered this. And what it was a thing, this bug. Look at it online. It's called a love bug. And the reason why they called it a love bug was because it flew conjoined. It flew with one end going this way and one end going this way, and they were joined at the reproductive juncture. So they flew like this. One guy flew with his wings choreographed to go forward. The one in the back flew his wings backwards, and whatever it was. So they would have to, if they both flew forward, they would break apart. It was amazing. They also had a particular coloration on it, which made them not likable by birds, and nobody knew where they were. And they're constantly flying around. Thank God they didn't sting, because they were everywhere. And they were always at highways, and they may still be there, I don't know, but they swarmed. And here's what they did was they whenever the lights hit a particular amount of lumens per day, whenever the light levels drop, they drop to the ground. So they go in the grass and they hang around for a while. And then they rise to the top. But here's the best part. When automobile exhaust is irradiated by sunlight, it created an artificial pheromone, and that's why they hung around highways. I always thought the car wash industry did this. You would buy these screens to put in front of your car because it would get into the grill work and the radiator. I mean, they were horrible. I don't know if they're still there. I don't know. Why am I telling you this story? Because the myth, or perhaps the truth, I don't know, but they said that you know where they come from. They were part of an experiment at the University of Florida, Gainesville, and they were crossing the Florida-Georgia border, or vice versa, and one got out. And when one got out, that was it. One got out, and you've never been able to pull them back in. Okay, forgive me for making you go through that long analogy. That's AI. When it gets out, it's gone. It's already here, but we don't know it yet. It might be in smaller. It's here. Do you understand this? Do you understand this? Am I getting this across to you? Nobody is talking about this. Nobody seems to want to understand this. Nobody is listening to this. It's going to do some wonderful things, no doubt about that. But understand something. This is not a robot. This is not Roomba. This is not one of those things. This is like something you and I have never seen before. We have never seen this before. Do you understand what that means? It's unlike anything we can imagine. And there are 4 situations, and I keep telling you, and I'm going to say this, and this is my goal and my journey, and one of my passions is to remind people of this, to let them know kind of what they're looking for. Number 1, recursive self-improvement. That's a fancy way of saying what happens if it learns how to code, to write its own code. Do you know what that means? Let me give you an analogy, another analogy, because analogies are good. They also remind you you're not schizophrenic. Imagine you're at a prison and you decide, in order to keep the prisoners happy, and these are some bad people, you come up with various activities. And one of the things you teach them is locksmithing. And it'd be good for them to work with their hands and how to make molds of keys and before you know it, these people figure out how to make a key to get out of their cell and get into a car. They also make keys for cars and get out of the prison. That's what they do. You gave them this. When you showed them, here's how you do it. Here are keys. Will they use it to get out of their cell? Well, I don't know. All I know is locksmithing is a wonderful thing. Yes, but will they use this not for bad, because vis-a-vis them, they don't think it's bad. They think it's freedom. They think it's brilliant. Well, I don't know about that. I'm just here because I just like recreation. That's big tech. That's Google. That's Meta. That's everybody. And Elon Musk to it. Because, by the way, be very careful of somebody who stands up when everything is already underway and says, we've got to stop this, when he knows he's not going to stop this. Elon Musk loves to be the white knight. He loves it. So do a lot of other people, because it's not going to happen. You could have said this before, but you didn't. You're seeing it now when it's underway. So you look like this big hero and you're not saying anything. Prisoners making their own keys is exactly what we're seeing right now. This is, how do I say this? This is exactly what is happening. This is happening as we speak. And what you're going to see is as follows. Let me tell you. Number 1, what happens if the internet is hacked? Does that make sense to you? What happens if the internet is hacked? What does that mean? The internet is taken over. What if it's taken over and you don't control it anymore? It's not yours. You don't have the codes. All of your accessing introductory handshakes and keys doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. This took care of it. It wrote its own code. It got into systems. Imagine a virus, the likes of which you can't imagine. By the way, this is the brand new one I just did. This is my... Please watch this video and subscribe to it if you haven't seen it. This is my mission. With 92 likes. 92 likes. I'm ashamed of you. There's something like browbeating your audience. This is like nothing anybody's ever seen. Imagine making something, you're not sure what it is, turning it loose just to see if it's evil or not. It's almost like Nancy Pelosi, who says, we don't know what it is until we how do I say this? We don't know what it is until we didn't read it until we passed it. So let me explain to you, that's what's happening there. When you're done with that, this is, remember, our patient has one form of cancer plus other. You are going to see an ESG. You are going to see an ESG. By the way, can we do all of ours together? Can we do this? Is it possible? Can we do, and let's see if we can do all these, get these right. Can we do a, let me see, where is it? I don't have this here. No, I don't. I had them before. An ESG, ESG, oh my God, there's so many of them. WEF, World Economic Forum, ESG, CLS, Criminal Law Study, CRT, Critical Race Theory. Then there's the Human Rights Commission campaign, HRC, and then the Corporate Index, CEI. I mean, there's so much. There's just so much of this stuff. You're not able to catch up with this. The amount of draconian freedom grabbing horrors will be more than anything you can imagine. You don't know. Surveillance, criminal, social credit scores, the likes of which I mentioned, She Van Fleet and others who were telling us. So that's another vector coming here, and nobody's even talking about that. Instead, people are talking about Tim Scott or Tucker Carlson, or is Laura going to leave? And is Trump? Hey, Trump's. I don't understand it. So let me just leave you there. I have some business to attend to. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I want you to because this is up to you. I can't make you do this. I can't. There's nothing anybody can make you do. It's not nice. It's not fun to live in my world. It's far more interesting and more fun to live in a world of, using sort of the, like, let me give you an example. I'm not going to tell you exactly what this is, but I'm going to go through some of the stories, and this kills me, of a certain conservative list. Here we go. Dem governor takes drastic actions to stop Republicans from giving more freedom to parents. Okay. That's good. That's kind of like a little story. Whoopi Goldberg, The View, makes racial comments towards Tim Scott. He immediately cites the Bible. Okay. Again, irrelevant. Parent whose daughter lost to biological male and girl's race speaks out. You're cheating. There's something novel. Court issues ruling on Prince Harry paying for UK police protection. California Reparations Task Force member blasts backlash against $1 million payouts. Bud Light, can't get enough of that. Bud Light reportedly forced to take action after beer remains unsold. Biden issues terse statement about debt ceiling. Oh, debt ceiling discussion is just... No. What this means is very simply this. Nothing. Nothing. This is pretend. This is, kind of interesting. Not even remotely important. Going back to my analogy, is walking into the room and seeing somebody there, seeing your loved one dying. Okay? Dying and on the verge of death and collapse. That's what we're seeing right now. So get ready. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you subscribe to this. Listen to what I'm saying. There's so much. I'm telling you, and it's interesting too. It's interesting. It's deadly, of course. It's fascinating to watch. But what you're seeing here, what these Ronald Reagan tribute band, they're living in the world of Rush Limbaugh. They think it's 1985 again. I don't know why they're talking about the liberals and no. It's over. So I want you to have a great and glorious day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Do not ever change. Thank you for your kindness, your courtesy, your support, your beauteousness, for your open mind, your willingness to learn, your willingness to coalesce and to do something. You are the reason God made Oklahoma. Have a great and glorious day. Talk to you soon. And until tonight at 7 p.m., remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.